What is up, everybody? Luke Film Boss here, and today I'm just going to talk quickly about John Wick Chapter Four's opening weekend. And it hasn't come out yet, but I'm just speculating because the Thursday night preview numbers have come in, and they are massive. $8.9 million in opening Thursday night previews is just an incredible number. That's that's 3 million more than the last John Wick film made in its previews. John Wick Chapter 3 made $57 million off of a uh in its opening weekend off of a $5.9 million preview. So that would put John Wick Chapter 4, if it follows suit, in the realm of around 80 plus $1 million weekend. That is crazy. If you look back at the John Wick franchise, every single film has just made significant growth compared to the previous chapter. This franchise started off, it wasn't even technically successful with the first installment. It really didn't even justify a sequel with how much it made. It made less than $15 million in its opening, less than $45 million domestically in total, and worldwide it was at 76 million. And then, but it was really good, and I think it did well on video in PVOD after its release, and it made enough in theaters that it was definitely worth making at least one more sequel to see how it went. And then John Wick Chapter 2 came out, and it doubled, more than doubled the first film's box office. Like, it was a huge step up. Opening weekend was 30 million for John Wick Chapter 2. Total domestic was 92 million, and the worldwide was 171 million, which is over almost 100 million more than the first John Wick made. And nobody thought that it was going to do this well, but then John Wick 3 came out of the gate running. Like, the first one was a really small hit. So the fact that Chapter 2 doubled its box office wasn't super impressive. Well, it was impressive, but it wasn't super surprising because of, at first, nobody really knew who John Wick was when the first film came out. And then by the second, it had a little bit more traction. But then by the third one, nobody expected it to break out of the gate and almost double the second film's box office. The opening weekend just came slightly under doubling the second film's. It had a 57 million opening weekend. Domestically in total, it had pretty strong legs and went to $171 million domestically, which is almost a mirror image of the second film's worldwide total. And worldwide, John Wick 3 had 327 million, which is almost double that of the second film. Now, the fourth film is not going to double the third film's grosses, but it's doing extremely well. It's such a high percentage, like higher than the third film, that it's just incredible how this franchise keeps growing. Quite frankly, if the franchise keeps it up, Chapter 5, which I'm pretty sure they're going to make now, Chapter 5 could possibly open over 100 million in its domestic opening weekend. I don't think this film is gonna do it. If it, I mean, the reviews are great. It's got good reviews, like best of the franchise across the board. 96% on Rotten Tomatoes from both critics and audience. That is 7 points higher than the next highest rated John Wick movie, which was tied with an 89% on John Wick Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Like 96% positive is like downright crazy good. And so maybe word of mouth is going to make this one of the leggiest John Wick movies yet, because they do have pretty strong legs. They tend to they've been pretty consistent with making about 3 times their opening weekend, and this one maybe even does a little bit better than that. So if this movie makes an $80 million opening weekend, and I think that's the low note. Like, Deadline's saying it's probably going to it's probably going to be around 70 plus million. I think it's going to be 80 plus million. Like, an 8.9 is big. Like, if you look at F9 back in 2021, it had a preview number of 7 million, and I'm going to go get that number for you. Its preview number was 7.1 million. and it went on to have a 70 million opening weekend. So if John Wick follows suit, that's roughly around an $88 million opening weekend. And let's look at Black Adam because I know it had a similar um, preview number to its opening weekend. Here we go, Black Adam. Okay, I guess Black Adam was actually better in its preview number than I thought. It was a 7.6 million preview number, but it went on to have a 67 million opening dollar weekend. So that still puts it in the realm of an 80 million opening weekend for John Wick Chapter 3 or Chapter 4, I'm sorry. The thing is, comic book movies like Black Adam tend to have much more front-loaded preview numbers and opening days. But even Shang-Chi, like it had um, around a 80 million. It was a 75 million opening weekend for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. The thing is that Shang-Chi is a Marvel film, and it actually had a lower preview number than John Wick Chapter 4 did. So this is still great news. 80 million I think is the lowest that this movie is going to open with all the good buzz, the excellent marketing, and this preview number just solidify that it's going to open somewhere in the realm of 80 to 90 million. And I'm just happy for the theatrical business because it's booming. There has been a few missteps, such as Shazam. So but overall, the marketplace looks good, and I think even Dungeons and Dragons, although it's not expected to do very good numbers, I think could overperform because its reviews um are definitely really solid. And then the Super Mario Bros. Movie is gonna be huge. Then we've got Guardians 3, Fast X, Little Mermaid, Spider Verse, Transformers, Flash, Indiana Jones. There's this year's loaded, and quite frankly, John Wick Chapter 4 could be one of the highest grossing domestic earners of the year. We'll just have to see. So thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help you be on the lookout for more videos from Luke Film Boss.